In this video, we're going to learn how to implement Android bottom navigation activity. So I'll start by creating my new Android project, and then I'll select bottom navigation activity. We can as well create our own from scratch, but I'll begin by using this one because it has good practices that are implemented by Android Studio suggestion. So I'll select bottom navigation activity and then click next, and then I'll give my application a name. I can call it my application 3, and then I'll keep the language as Java, and the API I'll leave it there at 4.0.3, but I can change any if I want, but for now I'll leave it there because it supports it. Then after, I'll click on finish. Our project has been created. Now the main part is to explain how everything is related to each other. But before I explain, let me first run the project so that you can see what you're going to have, and then I'll explain after I've seen what you're going to have. So I click on run, and then the project will start compiling. So we'll get something like this. It's an activity, a single activity, where we have our action bar, and then we have our main workplace center, and then we have the bottom navigation down here. So we can navigate from here to here or to here, and you can see when I change from one fragment to another, it does not refresh the whole page, but rather it switches from one page to another, from one fragment to another, and another fragment and another fragment. Yeah, so we're going to discuss and see how all these others, everything, how it's related and how we can implement them in real life applications. So we come back to our code. Let us begin by looking at our files. So if we come to Android manifest, we'll see we have only single activity. So it doesn't matter that we're having different layouts. No, these are just fragments, and fragments are not activities. So we're just displaying different fragments at a moment, but the activity is just one, and this one can help us to make our application be fluent, as well as not heavy and faster than application with different activities. For example, you see Instagram, they just switch along fragments. They don't have different activities when you're switching through the tabs of Instagram. So let us see how they are related to each other. So we have seen that in Android manifest we have only one activity. So let us come to our Java UI, our Java code. So I'll expand here, and you can see we have only a single activity, and then we have some other UI that we're going to look at later. So let us go to our Java code, and then we start explaining line by line. So this is our Java code. So the Java code, it starts with on create, of course. You already know how it does. Then after it starts the layout. It sets the layout for our activities. So if I press Ctrl and click, I'll be able to go out to the layout directly, or you can navigate through that layout. So you can see that layout. If I go back to the code, is just a fragment, and then a bottom navigation and the action bar. So if I click on the code, I'll be able to see what this layout is made of. First of all, let us see where it is located, and what's the name. The name is just activity layout, and this is just a single activity layout. There are not many layouts for different activities, just one activity layout. And if we come to layout, we can see it is just activity layout. But there are some other layouts that we're going to look at, which are fragments, such as home fragment, dashboard fragment, and notifications fragment. But let us first look at this layout. So this layout is having some padding top of action bar size, and then it has two elements inside here. The first element is the bottom navigation. You can see here is bottom navigation, and this is what we see here. It's not just because it is on top. No, you can as well put it down, because constraint layout, it doesn't matter which one comes first. But you can see this is the bottom navigation. When I click on it, you can see here it's activated. So this is the bottom navigation element, and it is having a width of 100%. But what it is taking here, it is having some background, so it means that it is always transparent. So we give it background to make it have that light that will not be interfered with the things in the background. So it is having the most important part here. The most important part here, it should have an ID, which is nav ID. I mean navigation view. You can change it to any other ID, and then we have the menu. That's the most important part. Or they have the menu that is going to implement, because this down here, it's not going to be nothing but a what? But a menu. And we've already looked at the menu. If you didn't look at the view, what is meant by a menu layout, you can do what? You can go to a previous video and see what is meant by a menu. So if I click Control and click on this menu, I'll be taken to the menu. Of course, I can as well find it here. If I come to the menu side and then I click on this menu, I'll be able to do what? To see the menu here. And this menu is just is having an ID of navigation home, and we have navigation dashboard, and we have what? ID of what? Of navigation notification. So if you want to add another element, for example, I want to add about us tab, I can as well add it here, and it will do what? It will appear in a navigation menu. So this is the menu that will appear in the what? In the navigation. So I can close it and we come back. So that's the menu, and then it must be there. Okay, it must be there. Otherwise, if it is not there, then this navigation bottom menu will have no sense that it will make. Okay, we come to the second item. There are two items that are here in the activity. The first one is the menu. This one will help us to control the what? To control what should appear in this main fragment space. The second one is the navigation, I mean the fragment, or the fragment area where our content will be appearing. Okay, the fragment area where our content will be appearing. So this fragment area, it is padding on, I mean having some this one having padding top, and it pushed this fragment area on bottom, and then you can see this fragment area is on top. You see what makes this one to be on top is this attribute. I can as well cut it and put it on top here, no problem, but what makes it to be on top is what? Is this attribute of on top of, and then we reference this ID, I mean this ID. So it will always be on top of this one, no matter where it is located. If you were with us when we looked at constraint layout, you will understand what I'm talking about. So it will always be on top of this ID, or of a navigation bottom view of this, which has this ID. So it match parent, all these others, they don't matter, but what matters, it should have an ID, which is navigation host fragment. So this is the fragment where we shall be populating different fragments that we'll be wanting to preview at the moment. And that's the first thing, that it should have an ID. And another thing, it should have a what? A navigation graph. Okay, a navigation graph, or what we call navigation. So this navigation graph is a file, or it's a layout that will help us to relate different navigation fragments that should appear in this workplace area. Remember, these shall be switching off through different fragments, but we don't see them here. Okay, so this is going to be like a player. So when you click, then it will display something. When you click, it displays something. So those things, we locate them inside the navigation graph. So if you come to navigation graph, you'll see it is at navigation, and then we have mobile navigation. Here it can be anything. This is just the name of a file. So if we come here to navigation, and then you see here, we shall have that mobile navigation. I can as well click on control and then click on it. We'll be able to do what? To see that mobile navigation. I want to make it center. I don't know why it's like this. Okay, so you can see this is the mobile navigation. Okay, this is the mobile navigation, this one here, mobile navigation. And where do you use it? We use it inside our fragment that will be displaying different fragments. So if I switch to back to mobile navigation, we'll have the navigation home, the dashboard, and what? A navigation notification. But this is nothing but a what? But a file which is under the navigation. If I click on the split, I'll see the what? The source code. The source code is just a navigation tab. After navigation tab, we have the fragments, and these are the fragments that we shall be switching through. We shall be switching with. And the first fragment, we can see it is having the ID of navigation home, the same ID that we are having in our element in our menu of this when we want to display this. Okay, and it's having a label of what, of home. So the label that we want here, we can change to any label that we want, but here we just keep it as what, as home. And then it is having also a layout that it is referencing from. Then we have another navigation here, the dashboard, and then we have another navigation for the notification. So if you want to add another navigation, maybe another navigation, so you have to copy this and then duplicate it, and then you change the information, or you can create as well another fragment. So this navigation will help us to switch through different fragments. Okay, it is just a file, so you can create another one. You can create as many as possible if you want to. I hope you get the concept. But the main point here also that each navigation is referencing now its own layout. It's separate layout. It's separate layout, and this one's also separate layout. If I press, for example, this layout for fragment home, if I press Ctrl and click on it, you'll see it is now where we're doing the what, the logic, displaying the home content. If I click here on split, you'll see it is here. In fact, you see fragment home. This one is the one that we are previewing. So this is where we shall put all our home content. In case we want to display anything, maybe I can change even this one to what, to linear layout, and then I start displaying all my content there. You see, this is the text that was there, and it is the one that has been switched. It is the one that is being switched. I can even add my own text view. Okay, so I can put with match parent, height, wrap content, and I can put here my own text and say this is my own text data. So if I want to do anything, any design, anything that I want to add in this navigation, I can add it here. Let me change its size and make it maybe 50 dp. So I'll come and change the orientation here of this orientation vertical, so that it should come next to that. So make it 30. So you can see that's our data. So if you want to put anything data on the home fragment, I'll just come and put it here. So all the data that we want to design, anything that we want to put in the home fragment, I can put it here. I hope you get the concept. So that's it for home fragment. Then you have also for notification fragment, it is here. We have also the fragment dashboard, and you have here, this is the main activity that we're having. So you see, when I put in home and then the data that I have in home, so this is the default the default what, navigation item. Then we'll see here the data that was coming from home fragment has been populated here, So that's how we organize, or we prepare the navigation item content. So that is for the front end, and it's a little bit complicated, but if you practice with it, you will find that it is very simple. So if I want to create another one, I just change this, I add one more element in the menu, and I add one more fragment here, and I add one more fragment here in this navigation. And once I do that, then I'll be able to to have another fragment. If I want to change anything in this home navigation, I can as well change it from there. So that is for the front end. Now let us look at the back end. So the back end, first of all, we shall not put the whole business here in the main. We shall not put all the back end business inside the main navigation. So we begin by creating a bottom navigation view. As you can see, I've created a bottom navigation view, and it is having it is getting this bottom navigation view that we had here inside the main menu. See this bottom navigation, this one. So we link it with this object that we're having here. Okay, this, the one that we use to control, we link it with the bottom navigation object that we have here. So that's the first thing that we create. After doing that, what else? Remember, it is the one that has even the menu. So what else? We create the configuration. So app bar configuration, and this app bar configuration takes three different, it takes a different element that we want to appear in that we want to control in our navigation. For example, have the home navigation and the ID for the dashboard, and then you have the ID for the notification. If you press Ctrl and enter, you'll see have the ID in the menu as well as the ID in the mobile navigation menu. So that's how they are linked. If I press Ctrl here, you see I have the for example, if I press Ctrl here, you see I have two IDs. The ID in the menu, which is the ID that in case we click here, it should show. And if I again press Ctrl, we shall see the ID for the fragment that you want it to do to control. So if I press, if it means that if I click on, and press Ctrl here, Ctrl and click. If I click on this, if I click, let me go to that of menu. If I click on that of menu here, since it's having the same ID, it will bring for us this navigation. To be linked to this navigation fragment controller, and then this navigation fragment controller will do will display the fragment layout of the notification. So I'll go back to our main activity. So that's what it takes. This is like the controller. Then we do then we build it. Okay, so after building it, then we come to navigation controller itself, where it is coming, where it is the main place where the content will be displayed. Okay, so we begin with the bottom navigation, which is for this bottom one, and then we come to the controller, or the place where this navigation be displayed. And that one is just pretty simple. You just press navigation controller, and then you do you relate it with the you relate it with the layout, that with the idea of a layout that you want to do to be displaying the content. Okay, as you can see, this is the layout. So we have these two main key things: the bottom navigation and the layout itself. So after having those two made up, then it means that in case I want to create more, I can as well create more by just adding more items. So the last thing, but not the least, you have to know to set now the controller. This controller will take the context. Okay, we'll take the context, which is this, and then we'll take the navigation controller, which is this one, as well as the bottom controller, which is this up bar bottom controller for the navigation bar. So after doing that, then we shall have set the controller. Then we implement the controller by doing set with the controller. Then we pass two things. We pass this nav view, this one, as well as this second one that we're using to display the content. So we pass here the two things. We pass the bottom navigation itself, that how I explained to you, which is taking the menu that I have already explained, and then also the controller itself. So by doing these ones, then the navigation will be able to do to be displayed on our screen. So, but this is just for the display. Now, what if you want to do some business, some logic behind this? So you'll have to do to create a separate business logic that in case someone clicks on a certain specific navigation, it's where we'll do that specific business. For example, the business for the back end business for home, and the back end business for dashboard, and the back end business for notification. You have to separate them separately. So this is how we do it. So you can see here we have the model and the fragment itself. This model is just we use it just to keep the data, nothing big. You can even work without it, but the most part is the fragment, because these are just different fragments. So every fragment should have its own back end. Okay, just like activities. Now also the fragment, they should have their own back end. So as you can see here, we have if I expand this UI, I have the dashboard fragment, for example, which is exporting the fragment dashboard. So all the logic that I want to put inside the fragment dashboard, I have to put it inside here. So you see, dashboard fragment, it is explaining that one. And here the most important part is it will create we have to do what? To inflate the layout. Okay, to inflate the layout, which is the fragment dashboard that we saw before, and it is taking the what? The container, and this container will be passed to us, and then we see if we can attach it to the root or not by passing true or false. So the remaining business will be implemented here. Okay, the remaining business will be implemented here. For example, you can see here we are finding the view text inside the dashboard, which is this one, this. Okay, and then this text, we do what? We set it to the string of the name of the element that we are previewing at this moment. So this is where we could set it. So if you want to do anything that will be regarded to this notification navigation bar, we have to put it inside here, inside the fragment of the dashboard fragment. So again, lastly, if you want to do what? To create another element for another navigation, then again you have to do what? To create here another UI for a fragment that will be inflating or that will be displaying that navigation. So if I run the application again, and then I'm going to show what we're going to do to see that we can implement this navigation bottom navigation. So the application is installing, and there is application. As you can see, things that I put in the home fragment, I can be able to see them here. I think that I put them in the dashboard fragment, they are here. So I want us to create here a button in the home fragment, or anywhere, just okay, in the home fragment, so that if I click on that button, it should show us a toast. Okay, so I'll just simply, okay, let us put it in the navigation fragment. So I'll just come to UI and then navigation fragment, and then I do what? I first create the button itself. Okay, I will first create the button itself. I can change this one to, okay, I can just come and use drag and drop here, put here a button, and then give it a what? Constraint. Okay, I just click there, and then the button has been given what? Constraints. Okay, I can put it here, no problem. Okay, so that's our button. I want this button, when I click on it, it should do what? It should show a toast. Okay, so I want to show you where I can implement the what? The business. So this button is having an ID button. So, and it is in the what? In the dashboard navigation. So I'll click there, and then we have to create the button here. So I'll create the button here on top. Okay, I'll give it a name button. Then after I have to connect it, now to connect it here, we shall come to what? To on create. Okay, we shall come to on create. I'm already on create. In fact, let me put it outside. So we shall come to on create, and then we come here after defining the root. Remember, this root is the one that will be responsible for specific navigation that we're previewing at that moment. So I'll just link it by saying is equal to. Now here we don't just say find ID by ID. No, we have to pass through the root, because it's the root that is having full control over the navigation that we are previewing at the moment. So I just put root dot find view by ID, and then I'll put r dot id dot button. Okay, so by doing that, I'll have linked with it. Okay, so the main point here, we have to pass through the root. Now let me create a toast when someone click there. So I just add dot set on click listener, new on click listener, and then I say toast. Okay, and then you have to pass the context. Now since it's not an activity, so you cannot just pass this. This will not work here. Okay, but you have to rather pass the context. I can get the context of the application here by just putting get context. Then to be able to get the what? The context application. So I can say I can say, hey, you clicked on a button. So here is where I can do what? We can put the logic of different navigations. So likewise here, if I want to put the logic, I'll have to put it inside the home here. If I want to put the logic of the notification, I have to put it here. So I have other element that I want to add this navigation. Maybe it should be like 4 navigations or 5. I can add them just like the way I've shown you, to add in different elements, such as we have to add in the menu, we have to create for it a file, we have to add it in the navigation itself. So after doing that, I'll have to run and we see what's going to be our output. So the application has started, but remember our button we put in the in dashboard. So I click on dashboard, then our button is there. So let us click, you can see the toast. Hey, you click on on button. I click, you see the toast, you click on you click on button. So that's a brief introduction to navigation, to bottom navigation of Android programming. I hope you've understood, and I hope you can be able to play with it in different ways. And thank you for watching the video. In case you have not liked the video, please make sure that you like and share with friends, as well as subscribing to my YouTube channel if you haven't. See you in the next video. Thank you for watching.